Hindi pa nga formal na naghahayag si Bongbong Marcos kung tatakbo nga ba siya bilang presidente sa susunod na taon, ay inihayag niya na ang kanyang napakagandang plano sa Pilipinas. Ito ay naganap sa isang interview sa National Press Club of the Philippines at dito ibinahagi ni Bongbong Marcos ang kanyang napakagandang ideolohiya at ang kanyang magandang plano sa Pilipinas. At dito inilatag ni Bongbong Marcos ang kanyang Platapormang pahayag, mga magagandang hakbang para sa ikabubuti ng ating bansa, na sa ngayon po ay hindi mo pa po naririnig sa ibang mga individual na nagpaplano o matunog na pangalan na tatakbo bilang presidente ng Pilipinas sa year 2022. Ito po, panoorin po natin ang sabay-sabay.
And ang question ko, Senator, is this. Okay, iba ang sitwasyon natin ngayon. What do you think should be the issues na dapat talakayin ngayong palapit na ang halalan, politika, ekonomiya, gano'n? Saan ba dapat isentro ng mga kandidato ang usapin pagdating nitong halalan natin?
Well, ang halalan natin is in May 2022. And presumably, yung ating vaccination program talagang tumatakbo na mabuti. So we really have to be, ngayon pa lang, kailangan na nating iniisip, what are we going to do about the economy? Paano natin bubuhayin ulit ang ekonomiya? Paano natin pasisiglahin ulit ang economic activity dito sa Pilipinas? Now, it is again an unusual situation dahil dati medyo pag pinag-uusapan ng Philippine economy, it is like an economy that is specific to the Philippines. Yun ang situation sa Pilipinas, ito yung mga dapat gawin. And there were times that we can count on the help of other big rich countries. Like the US, like Japan, even China, kung saan we can always count on some kind of help. Now, it's not necessarily the case. We have become a more global economy. And therefore, we cannot assess or we cannot analyze what the economy will bring on a very insular basis. We have to really look what's happening with the global economy and the situation that they're in, and how much we can take part in their resurgence or their recovery. In any case, ang sa akin palagay, ang pinakamalaking issue na dapat talagang pag-usapan ay ano ang post-COVID plano para sa ekonomiya, para magdala ng trabaho, para I always use as a very basic example. Every year we graduate mga 1.2 million na graduate. So that's 1.2 joining the ranks of unemployed. We will return, I think, approximately approaching 700,000 OFWs who will have to come back because nawala yung trabaho nila. Not only did they lose their jobs, the jobs that they previously had have disappeared. Yung iba hindi na babalik. So we have to find employment for that. Bukod pa doon, yung unemployed na talaga and underemployed. So that I think should be the focus. And how do we get the economy moving? And in my view, of course the large corporations and the big businesses have a role to play. But para sa akin is just get money into the hands of ordinary people. And I'm not talking about ayuda, just yung tinatawag na cash transfer na basta namimigay tayo ng pera, because we cannot support that much longer. So what I'm trying to do is actually we must think of it as a public investment in certain areas. And we're talking about yung medium and small term enterprises, because they still comprise the huge majority. At napaka-importante kasi kung may hawak ang tao na pera, bibili siya ng kahit na ano, bibili ng pagkain o bibili ng gamit, magbabayad ng rent. All of this, the money enters into the economy and iikot yan. Because yung binabayaran niya will have also money in their pocket, and slowly, kahit mahina pa yung multiplier effect, lalaki at lalaki yan habang mas malaki ang ating ekonomiya. The question now is what areas of the economy do we invest in? What are the areas that are going to be significantly larger or more active post-pandemic than it ever was pre-pandemic? So we have to rethink our view of the economy, but simply because the terrain for all businesses of any kind has changed completely. Even just the physical requirements now of having a mask, of putting up shields in the offices, mga testing, all of these things have to be taken into account. These are added costs that either the government will bear or corporations will bear. And then, what are the areas that are going to be very important in the near future? So there is the ayuda is very important. Ang dami talaga natulungan ng ayuda. Kung wala yan, talagang wala na makain ng mga tao, kawawa naman talaga. Kaya napakalaking bagay na kahit papano nakakatulog tayo. Pero in the long term, we really have to be thinking, how do we provide those jobs? How do we create those jobs? Where do we direct our public investment? And I think the buzzword now, yung kanilang laging sinasabi is we have to digitize the entire economy. Well, I don't know about the entire economy, but a large part of the economy is going to be digitized. Many of the people na nakasubok na ng work from home, hindi na babalik yan sa dating gawin. Sasabihin, pwede naman pala pasok tayo once a week, twice a week. Hindi na kailangan araw-araw na pumapasok kasi yung ibang trabaho kaya naman natin gawin from home. Meron akong my son is in Singapore, is working as a coder. He writes code he works for a government corporation in Singapore. And walang problema yung work from home sa kanya. My wife is a lawyer. Marami siyang magawang trabaho na galing sa kaya sa bahay lang, work from home ulit. So that whole process of working will change, and we have to adjust well and quickly. The first thing is that siguro yung build na ginagawa ng pamahalaan, isama natin doon yung internet. Because that is going to be as critical as roads and bridges, or it has already become as critical as roads and bridges in terms of infrastructure necessity or development dito sa ating bansa. And we have fallen behind for whatever reason with the other countries. And siguro yan ang talagang dapat nating tignan na mabuti, because mas mabilis ang flow ng information, mas mabilis ang trabaho ang nagagawa natin. And all of these things, all of these things have become so important, and we have to adjust our thinking. Whereas before, we say infrastructure, roads, bridges, buildings. Now we have to talk about infrastructure, we have to talk about power. We have to really go back to basics. We have to go back. For example, hindi na natin iniisip noon yung food supply. Dati naman may pagkain. Ngayon, napaalala sa atin na medyo naghihirap ang ating agricultural sector. At pag hindi na tayo makaasa sa ibang bansa para sa supply natin, hindi lamang sa palay, hindi lamang sa bigas, kundi sa iba't ibang produkto, we have to be able, there's a strategic reason why our own agricultural sector has to be strong. And that is a of strategic importance for the strength of the nation, of the country. So agri. Now we talked about education a little bit. That's for me, as I always said, para sa akin yan ang pinakamahalagang serbisyo na idinudulot ng gobyerno sa taong bayan, lalo na sa mga kabataan. Na talagang binigyan tayo ng napakalaking problema nitong COVID kung paano gagawin. Kailangan natin balikan yan, kailangan natin isipin yan kung paano gagawin yan. And then, now the new, well, not so new, it has always been there, but it has been highlighted by the pandemic, is healthcare. The government has not built any major hospitals since 1986. And that is a long time. We have been waiting for that a long time. And that weakness has been highlighted by the pandemic. So, balikan natin. We have to start strengthening the research institutes. Yung suggestion or the initiative of the President of putting a Center for Disease Control, yung parang sa United States, tama rin yun para may overarching na organization na talagang naghahanda, hinahanda yung mga iba't ibang ahensya, iba't ibang ospital para sa susunod after COVID. Ang daming nagsasabi, hindi pa ito yung huli. Baka meron pang darating. So we have to be ready for that. But
Yes.
let's take this as an opportunity to generally improve our healthcare system. And aside from building the large institutions, ibaba natin sa grassroots level kasi doon tayo nahirapan hindi tayo nakapag-testing na mabuti, hindi tayo nakapag-contact tracing na mabuti because when it got to the ground level, mahina ang organization. So we're talking about RHUs, we're talking about rural health units, we're talking about smaller hospitals, clinics that are manned maybe two times a week, 3 times a week for the minor cases that will free up the big hospitals for the major cases. Yun ang mga dapat nating mga iniisip. So that it, and then ano nga ako because naalala ko yung slogan sa 60s rice, schools and bridges, which is we're back to that. Rice, agri, schools, yung education natin, bridges, yung infrastructure. So we really have to go back to basics so that we are more robust pagdating ng sakali ng another economic crisis or even a pandemic again, like we are now going through. So palagay ko, those are the areas that we have to be thinking about. Now, where do we direct our longer term investment? That is something that the economic managers have to analyze and assess for us. Dapat isipin nila saan tayo dapat pupunta, saan magiging market o saan yung magiging demand na pwede nating i-fill dito sa Pilipinas. We have to be kasi the old economics is that you just follow where the markets are.
Yeah.
Ngayon, like in other countries, they create the markets and they make and make themselves ready for certain markets, or they anticipate the markets. If they don't create it, they anticipate it well. Kaya pinaghahandaan nila. So that's maybe what we need to be doing. Should we be training our people in IT? Should we be training our people in agri? Should we be training our people in other disciplines? Yun ang mga dapat nating isipin ngayon. Those are the issues. And that all boils down to pasisiglahin ang ekonomiya para magkaroon ng trabaho ang karamihan ng tao.
Thank you, Senator. Mukhang all these times naggagawa ka na ng plano, no, para for next year.